What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Cleanspark today. Yes, my house is an absolute mess. There are boxes everywhere. We're moving. I mean, we just moved in. This is the new place, actually. I like it. I like it a lot. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Cleanspark, CLSK, and how we've been doing more or less kind of exactly what I've been calling for, which is that we consolidated. Right, on this daily time frame here, we've consolidated here. We did not go back below this this gap here, and we're actually breaking out to the upside. Now, what I love about today, man, what I love about today was that it opened up up here. We went all the way up here in the beginning of the day, and then we came down, and we actually, it looked like we were going to flip it a little bit, but then we actually held it. We held it pretty well. We actually have increasing volume, so it's pretty even actually, but relatively higher levels of volume for the breakout. I think it's appropriate. It makes sense. It looks good to me. What I want to point out, sorry, I thought I heard something. What I want to point out is this little line right here. From top to top, you did go a little bit above that. Keep that in mind. But where would we go if we were to intersect this line specifically? Let's see. We would be right about there. Okay, so that right there is at $12.76. $12.76. If you remember, if anybody's new here or not new here, there are multiple fib levels, Fibonacci retracements and extensions pointing to this level, $12.56, just below that line, right? That's the golden ratio at the 618. 61.8% is the golden ratio. If we take this high, this most recent high, to this low here, where we had a kind of a double bottom, right, and then we've had increasing volume as we've broken out, higher high here, the 1618, the golden ratio, but in an extension form, the golden extension is also right there at 1250. And back to this, what I was saying, keep in mind, is that we went a little bit above this line. We could go a little bit above this line this time, and maybe we do break $13, like I've been calling for, right? I haven't been calling for us to break $13. I've been more or less saying, $12.50 to $13, but I do think we very well could break above $13. I am going to take profits as soon as we hit that 618. I'm going to take profits, and I know, I've got some people out there, my grandfather included, who thinks I should just, hold, and some people play the long game. I play the long game. I'm definitely a long game kind of person, but when I have an ideal setup like this, and for all the reasons that I just pointed out, I think that there is going to be a lot of significance around this area. But if we look at the line and we look at the price too and what it's done, we found resistance here before. We found support here before, right? Little fake out here, resistance, tipped it as resistance, support back here. It's a significant level. Okay, it is a significant level. I'm very confident that letting go, selling here, maybe don't sell all of it, right? I don't think selling all of it's a good thing. Someone was actually saying that they're going to do basically exactly what I'm doing, which is sell about half their position, let it come down, keep the rest in for the rest of the cycle. And I think that's wise. I'm not selling all of my Cleanspark, not even close actually, but I am going to let go of my options here, my call options. And I do think Cleanspark has a bright future. I think that it's going to go well above this price by the end of 2025, by the end of the crypto bull cycle. But right now, you guys, I think we are at the point in this little kind of channel up where we're going to start seeing some resistance, right? And we've consolidated here. We just broke out. We might see it tomorrow. By it, what I'm referring to is the top. We might see it tomorrow. We might not. It might be next week, it might be the week after. And there are a couple of things in that I want to talk about as to why we could potentially break above this line. We could potentially see prices that are dramatically higher than $14. But the reason why I'm still going to take profits even with that, and we're going to go over that in a second, is because even if it does, let's say it goes all the way up to $20, something like that, I think that it will pull back and go lower than the current price is now whenever it does pull back, because all of these pullbacks that we've had, let's just see here. From top to bottom, we had a 40, it was actually a little bit more than that. 40, come on now. 44, was it? 40, 47, okay. 47% pullback there. Top, come on now, top to bottom here, 35% pullback, and then this one was the doozy, man. Top to bottom here, we saw a 55% pullback, okay? Let's say we went all the way up, let's give it $21, okay? A 35% pullback would put us at $13.77. If I let go of my options at $13 and I have to buy it 77 cents higher, okay, all right, you got me, all right. But if it sees a 47 or a 55% drop from there, a 47% drop would be basically where it's at now. A 55% drop or bigger would be lower than where it's at now. And again, that's assuming it runs up incredibly higher. Sorry, I keep thinking I hear something. I've got a daughter who's sleeping. She's just a little girl, so she's like not even 2 years old, you know. So if she's crying, I got to go take care of her. But enough about me. Even if it does the worst case scenario for me, which is that it goes up, well, the amount of stock that I'm holding will still go up in price as well. That's why it's really important not to sell it all. But the reason why I think that you could see prices breaking above this is that we did have a little consolidation here. It looks like we're breaking out right now. We are at the end of the week. It is Friday. Getting to the meat and potatoes of it all. It is Friday. This thing loves to, when it moves up, man, it loves to continue to grow like at pretty high rates. We are only 15% away from this line. We're only from the ascending trend line, we're only 21%. You know, in a day here we saw growth that was 16% on this gap up. The day before that we saw 22%. You know, we've seen multiple days throughout this whole time where we've seen greater than 10% growth. So with that kind of in mind, truthfully, we're like a day or 2 days away from hitting this line if we continue to get positive growth as we've seen throughout this whole move, okay? But the reason why I think we could continue past this and break this is because Bitcoin itself, I do believe, will see a rally going into Christmas week. And Christmas week isn't in a day or two from now. Here we are on December 14th for me, but really it's going to be December 15th by the time most of you see this. We're still about 10 days out, okay, from Christmas. And Bitcoin will probably pump during Christmas week and through Christmas even. We'll probably see prices increasing. So if Bitcoin, let's actually go to that real quick, BTC USD. If Bitcoin does what I think it's going to do, and it goes, let's say, at least to 48K, but I actually think it's going to go to 50K. Okay. If it does 18% in growth, I would think that Cleanspark could do double that, man. It could really do double that, right? We've seen, let's just see, since December 1st, we've seen an overall growth of 19% in BTC. For Cleanspark, it's something like 70%, right, since December 1st. So let's just see. December 1st, that was this day here. From low to high. Yeah, we've seen, I mean, overall, we've seen 97% growth. So we could absolutely see if Bitcoin grows another, what was it, man? 12%? 16%? What was it? Come on. Let me see. Up to like 50K. If it were to see 17, 18% in growth, Cleanspark could see 36% in growth, or it could see more than that, right? Phenomenally more than that. And what would that do? What would that do for Cleanspark? 37% right here, that'd be $15, okay? So just kind of more illuminating the idea that yes, it could go higher, but man, I'm dying out here. So I think I'm going to leave it with that, guys. I do think even with that more bullish kind of look in the midst, I'm not expecting that. There's a lot of significance around that $12.50 to 13, maybe even a little bit above $13 area. And that's why I'm going to let go of my options, man. I think that this is going to be a perfect higher high to sell. I don't think that we're there quite yet. And again, this line right here is very, very telling. I think that something like this is good to pay attention to. If you can catch it above here, that might be a perfect time to sell. But this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just kind of bouncing ideas off of this. I wonder, real quick here, top to bottom, 3618. All the way up there at $14, man. And look at this. Look at the respect you've shown. I'm going to go to the 2 hour just so it's a little bit more visible. Here you are, breaking above your 618 like butter. You found support on it. This kind of setup automatically makes me think that you're going to see this 1618, which you did. You found resistance here at your 1272, respecting the hell out of this fib all the way up. I love it. Little bit, you went a little bit above the 1618, came back, found support on your 1272 zone, a previous area of resistance, and then skyrocketed up, man. Where did you skyrocket to? You consolidated for a second, but really you skyrocketed into the twos. You found support, not resistance this time, on the 2272. You found support here and here, actually. You found a little bit of resistance at the 2618, showing both significance, not just on the 2618, but the 1618 and the 618 itself. Here you are right now, breaking above the 2886. You actually found support on it over the past few days. I think this 3618 is completely possible, man. It really is completely possible. And if it does continue to grow with Bitcoin through Christmas week, I think seeing that right there, I mean, literally that's on Thursday the 21st. That price is totally possible. So again, I'm going to take profits at $12.50 to $13 personally. If I change my mind, I will let you guys know. But that's the plan as of right now, and I will probably stick to that. But if things look like they could go higher, I think we're so extended already, man. Personally, I think we are, like, on this daily. We've been overbought for a while. Don't get me wrong. Whenever you go overbought and then you bounce off the overbought zone like this to the upside, that does signify a positive move, right? A stronger kind of last, like, hoorah. There's not really another example of that. I don't know, kind of over here, right? Like this. Let's just see what this did. So here you were consolidating. You had a nice, fantastic run up, consolidating, bounced just a little bit below the overbought zone, and then went up like that, right? What did you hit, I wonder? Top to bottom off this consolidation zone. You hit your 2272. Okay. We had other ones back here where you bounced, and then you continued, and then you bounced, and then you continued off your overbought zone. Let's see. Top to bottom here, up to your 1886. You like deep extensions, man. That's really nice to see. I'm just curious real quick, though. All the way up to your 3618. That is, I mean, small scales, so it doesn't really matter as much, but still impressive. There's one more that I wanted to go over, right over here, right? You bounced off your overbought zone here, consolidated again. I know it looks like it just moved in a straight line, but really for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks here, it consolidated from top to bottom. You went up to your 2618. Beautiful. Love to see it. So a minimum of a 1886 so far in these kind of scenarios. Let's say you were to do it here. Right? So let's see. I would take this top to this bottom of your consolidation. You're breaking out right now. The minimum price target that we've seen based off of similar kind of examples like this would put us at 1264, which is again right near that golden extension zone, right around 1250, the golden retracement zone, the macro golden zone at the 1250 area as well. But we've oftentimes actually seen deeper prices into the twos, right? One time it did not hit the twos, and then inevitably it actually did continue to go higher after that. But most of the times when you're seeing these kind of setups, other than like one instance, which was all the way back here, right? Other than this, you basically topped off right after you bounced off your oversold zone or overbought zone, right? You basically topped off right after you had that bounce off your overbought zone. And what is key, I think, with this little bit here is that this happened after the Bitcoin halving, the previous Bitcoin halving that we had in May. It was May of 2020 that we had the halving. This was post-halving bullishness. Right now, we are at pre-halving bullishness. It's still strong, but it's not as strong, in my opinion. So I really do think that seeing prices above $13 just became, in my opinion, a lot more likely. It's probably giving me something to think about as far as profit taking goes, but I am planning on taking profits probably, let's say, instead of $12.50 to $13, I'll say $12.50 to $14, somewhere in that range is what I'm thinking. But yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like I've said enough. I kind of went on more than I intended to, but I'm glad I did because we kind of discovered some stuff together as far as like reactions with similar looks like this go, and just more validity again to the idea that, you know, we probably could go above this trend line. Though I would say, just like here, where anything above that trend line would have been the perfect time to sell, I think hindsight will kind of show us the same thing. We're going to up, down, up. Here, actually, I didn't draw that right. Okay. Up, down, sideways, up, down, maybe sideways, and then up, down. Who knows, you know. But I do think that we're not going to continue in a straight line forever, is all I'm trying to say. So before I continue to ramble, I will end it there. So if you like the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Another thing to take into consideration as I keep really trying to delve deep into this thing, man, is that we found resistance here, right? We could go a little bit higher in the RSI. Where we're at now, we've topped off once before, but I do think we'll go a little bit higher. So essentially, the two previous highest points in the RSI, if we continue to go higher and close this week bullishly, we'll actually have the third highest peak in this RSI's history. Both times before were great times to sell. Even if, retrospectively, if you held throughout here, you would have been rewarded, right? Even retrospectively, if you held there, you would have been rewarded. If you sold at the peak in the RSI up here, you still could have saved yourself from like a 50% drop, right? You could have dabbled, and then you had another opportunity here. So one way or another, maybe we don't go all the way back down below this high. Maybe we just consolidate, but I do think that we'll see some kind of pullback in the coming weeks, probably in the coming weeks, and it'll probably happen as Bitcoin takes its own shit. So that's all I got for you guys. Seriously, hit that like button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you on the next one. Have a good day, good night, bye-bye, adios.